Stop making excuses for red flags and listen to me very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will change everything you think you know about modern dating and save you from years of heartbreak and wasted time. I've spent over 15 years studying how people behave in relationships, working with thousands of women across 6 continents, and there are 7 specific phrases that when a man says them to you, they don't just show his intentions, they show his entire plan for how he wants to use you, make you smaller, and then throw you away when he's done. These aren't just warning signs, they're tricks disguised as normal conversation. And the moment you hear them, you need to understand that you're not dealing with someone who's confused or needs time to figure things out. You're dealing with someone who has already decided that you're not worth his real effort, but useful enough to keep around when it's easy for him. Stay until the very end, because the 7th phrase is so sneaky and so normal in our culture that 95% of women not only miss it, they actually feel good when they hear it. And it's the one that hurts your ability to recognize real love the most. Before I break down these 7 phrases that should make you run, you need to understand something that will completely change how you handle every man you meet for the rest of your life. Most women have been taught by movies, by friends, by family to believe that love means being patient, understanding, and always looking for the good in someone instead of seeing what's really there. We've been told that the right woman can make a man change, that if we just stick around long enough and love him enough, he'll finally commit to us. This thinking goes so deep that we can't tell the difference between a man who's really trying to work on himself and a man who's just keeping us confused while he looks for someone better. We've been taught to think our standards get in the way of love instead of understanding that our standards are what make real love possible. Ancient wisdom teaches us that we can't truly love someone else until we learn to love and protect ourselves first. But modern dating has made us believe that protecting ourselves is being selfish and that having boundaries pushes people away. Here's what nobody tells you about the phrases I'm about to share with you. They're not mistakes or bad communication. They're careful tests to see how much bad treatment you'll accept and how willing you are to throw away your own needs to make him comfortable. Every man who uses these phrases has used them before, has seen how well they work to make women expect less and give more, and he's counting on you to make excuses for his behavior instead of seeing it for what it really is. What I'm about to teach you isn't just dating advice. It's a way to protect yourself that will save not only your heart, but your entire future. Because the man you choose doesn't just affect your love life. He shapes your career, your friendships, your family relationships, your money, your health, and most importantly, how you see yourself. Choose wrong and you'll spend years trying to heal from the damage while watching your dreams disappear as you pour all your energy into someone who never planned to give any back. The first phrase that should make you leave immediately, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now, is when a man says, "I don't want to hurt you," or anything like, "I don't want to lead you on," or "I want to be honest about where I'm at." This phrase is the sneakiest form of manipulation in modern dating because it's designed to make you feel like he's being considerate when he's actually giving himself permission to treat you badly and making it your fault if you get hurt. When a man says this to you, he's not protecting you from getting hurt. He's protecting himself from being blamed when he hurts you. He's basically telling you that he's about to do things that he knows will hurt you, but because he warned you first, you're supposed to thank him for being honest and accept whatever little pieces of attention he decides to give you. This phrase is especially tricky because it makes women think they're dealing with someone who's mature and honest when they're actually dealing with someone who's selfish and calculating. Here's what's really happening when he says this. He's already decided that you're not the woman he wants to be with long term, but you're convenient enough to keep around until something better shows up. And he wants to set up the rules of this arrangement right away so that when he treats you like you don't matter, you can't say he tricked you. He gets to have your time, your emotions, your body, and your loyalty while keeping complete freedom to leave whenever he wants without feeling bad about it. The worst part of this phrase is that it makes you feel like you have to prove that you're strong enough to handle whatever he gives you, that you're not like other women who need security and promises, that you're cool and chill enough to appreciate his honesty. You start trying to be the perfect woman who never needs anything, never asks for more, and makes a man feel guilty for treating her poorly. This is exactly what he wants you to feel, disconnected from your normal need for security so that you'll accept a relationship that only benefits him. The second phrase that should send you running is "you deserve better than me," or similar things like "I'm not good enough for you and you could do so much better." This phrase is pure mental warfare disguised as being humble, and it's designed to make you chase him harder while also giving him permission to treat you poorly. When a man says this, he's not being modest or putting himself down. He's setting up a situation where you spend your energy trying to convince him he's amazing instead of thinking about whether he's actually good enough for your time. This phrase works so well because it triggers women's natural instinct to build people up and help them see their potential. When he tells you that you deserve better, your automatic response is to tell him he's wrong, to list all his good qualities, to convince him that he's being too hard on himself. And while you're doing all that, you completely flip what should be happening in the relationship. Instead of him working to prove he deserves you, you're working to prove he deserves himself, which means you stop asking whether this relationship is actually good for you. What makes this phrase so dangerous is that it's often true. He's right. You do deserve better than what he's giving you, but he's betting that you'll be so busy arguing with him that you'll never stop to think about whether you actually agree with him. He's literally telling you that he's not going to give you what you deserve, but he's saying it in a way that makes you want to argue against your own best interests. This is manipulation at its smartest level because it uses your kindness and loyalty against you. Men who always use this phrase have learned that it's much easier to get women to expect less than it is to actually step up and be better. They've figured out that by acting damaged or unworthy, they can avoid the work of being a good partner while still getting all the benefits of your investment in them. They get to be lazy, unreliable, emotionally unavailable, or inconsistent while you do all the emotional work of making excuses for their behavior and convincing yourself that their potential is worth your present pain. The third phrase that should make every alarm in your body go off is, "I'm not looking for anything serious right now," when he's at the same time creating all the closeness and connection of a serious relationship. This isn't about timing or being ready. This is about wanting full access to you without any of the responsibility that comes with real commitment. When a man says this while texting you every day, spending most nights with you, bringing you into his world and making you emotionally dependent on him, he's lying to your face about what this is. He's building a fake relationship that gives him everything he wants: companionship, consistency, emotional support, physical intimacy, social validation, while clearly telling you that you're not important enough to him to deserve actual commitment. This phrase is designed to keep you ally invested while he keeps looking at other options. And it works because it tricks women into thinking that good behavior will eventually turn into the commitment we want. What makes this especially painful is that it creates a trap where you're constantly trying to prove that you're worth choosing while having to pretend that you don't even want to be chosen. You have to act like you're perfectly happy with whatever this is, while secretly hoping that your patience and understanding will make him want more. You become part of your own mistreatment, accepting less than what you want while acting grateful for whatever attention he decides to give you. This situation is especially cruel because it keeps you in a constant state of worry and confusion. You're always wondering where you stand, always looking for signs that he's changing his mind, always walking on eggshells to avoid being too much or asking for too much. You start to forget your own needs because you're so focused on keeping him comfortable and interested. This isn't love, this is emotional kidnapping. And the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to remember what real care actually feels like. The fourth phrase that tells you everything you need to know about his character is, "You knew what this was," whenever you say you're unhappy with how he's treating you or you want the relationship to move forward. This phrase is pure gaslighting because it's designed to make you feel like you're being crazy for wanting basic respect in a relationship. He's basically telling you that because he set low standards from the beginning, you have no right to expect him to treat you better, even as you become closer and more intimate. When a man uses this phrase, he's showing you that he thinks relationships are agreements where women promise to accept terrible treatment forever, as long as the man was upfront about planning to treat them terribly. He's telling you that your feelings don't matter, your growth doesn't matter, and your needs don't matter because he warned you that he wasn't going to meet them. This is like someone punching you in the face and then getting angry at you for bleeding because they told you they were going to hit you. What makes this phrase particularly damaging is that it makes you doubt your own memory and perception of what's been happening between you. You start questioning whether you imagined the intimacy, whether you made up the connection, whether you're being unreasonable for expecting someone who acts like your boyfriend to actually be your boyfriend. He's training you to believe that your interpretation of events is wrong and that his version of reality is the only one that matters. This phrase also reveals that he sees your emotional investment as a weakness to be exploited rather than a gift to be treasured. Instead of feeling moved by your growing feelings for him, instead of being inspired by your vulnerability and trust, he sees it as proof that his manipulation is working. He views your desire for more commitment not as a natural progression of intimacy, but as you trying to change the rules of the game, and he punishes you for it by making you feel crazy and demanding. The fifth phrase that should make you run for the hills is, "I don't want to ruin our friendship," when things start getting romantic or when you try to define what's happening between you. This phrase is particularly insidious because it sounds noble and thoughtful when it's actually a way to keep you available while avoiding commitment. When a man says this, he's not protecting a friendship, he's protecting his access to you without responsibility. Here's what's really happening. He enjoys the emotional intimacy, the physical chemistry, and the special connection you have, but he doesn't want to deal with the expectations and accountability that come with calling it what it is. He wants to be able to act like your boyfriend when it's convenient for him and retreat behind the friendship label when it's not. This phrase allows him to have all the benefits of your romantic interest while maintaining complete freedom to pursue other women without feeling like he's cheating or betraying you. What makes this phrase so painful is that it weaponizes your care for him against you. Because you value the connection you have, because you don't want to lose him completely, you accept this impossible situation where you have to pretend that your romantic feelings don't exist while continuing to provide all the emotional support and intimacy that feeds those feelings. You become trapped in a friendship that isn't actually a friendship because there's too much romantic tension, and it's not a relationship because he won't let it be one. The cruelest part is that men who use this phrase often continue to behave romantically with you while hiding behind the friendship excuse. They'll still be physically affectionate, still have deep emotional conversations, still treat you like you're special. But the moment you try to acknowledge what's really happening or ask for clarity, they retreat behind, "I don't want to ruin our friendship," as if the romantic element was all in your head. The sixth phrase that reveals his true intentions is, "I don't believe in labels," or "Why do we need to put a name on it?" When you ask about the status of your relationship. This phrase is designed to make you feel like you're being shallow or insecure for wanting clarity about where you stand with him. He's trying to convince you that labels are unnecessary complications when labels are actually just honest communication about intentions and commitment. When a man resists labels, he's not being evolved or above conventional relationship structures. He's being strategic about maintaining his options. Labels come with expectations and accountability, and men who avoid them do so because they don't want to be held accountable for how they treat you. If you're not officially his girlfriend, then he doesn't have to act like a boyfriend. If you're not in a committed relationship, then he doesn't have to be committed. This phrase is particularly effective because our culture has somehow convinced us that caring about relationship status makes us needy or insecure, when in reality, wanting to know where you stand with someone is completely natural and healthy. You're not being clingy for wanting to know if you're in an exclusive relationship. You're being smart. You're not being insecure for wanting commitment. You're being realistic about what it takes to build something real with someone. What men who use this phrase don't tell you is that they absolutely believe in labels when it serves them. They believe in the label of friend when they want to justify treating you poorly. They believe in the label of casual when they want to keep their options open. And they definitely believe in the label of girlfriend when they find someone they actually want to commit to. The problem isn't with labels. The problem is that he doesn't want to give you the label that would require him to treat you with the respect you deserve. The seventh and most dangerous phrase, the one that destroys more women's ability to recognize genuine love than any other, is "you're not like other girls," or "you're different from other women I've dated." This phrase sounds like the ultimate compliment, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Women hear this and feel special, chosen, understood in a way that other women weren't. But what you're actually receiving is a manipulation tactic that separates you from your natural support system and makes you complicit in your own mistreatment. When a man tells you that you're not like other girls, he's not complimenting you, he's programming you. He's setting up an identity for you that you'll feel pressure to maintain. And that identity is built on being the exception to female nature rather than being a whole, complete woman with normal female needs and desires. This phrase trains you to pride yourself on not needing the things that women typically need: security, commitment, emotional availability, respect, consistency, because needing those things would make you like other girls. This phrase is particularly insidious because it makes you an accomplice in your own degradation. You start to see other women as needy, dramatic, or high maintenance, while viewing yourself as cool, understanding, and low maintenance. You begin to judge other women for having standards that you've convinced yourself you're too evolved to need, and in doing so, you completely disconnect from your own natural feminine instincts and needs. What makes this phrase so psychologically damaging is that it creates an identity that's entirely dependent on not being feminine in the ways that might inconvenience him. You become proud of not asking for commitment, proud of not expressing jealousy, proud of not needing reassurance, proud of not having boundaries, proud of being okay with treatment that would make other women leave. You've been convinced that suppressing your natural needs makes you special when it actually makes you available for mistreatment. Men who use this phrase have usually learned that women will work incredibly hard to maintain their special status once they've been told they have it. You'll accept behavior that you would never advise a friend to accept because accepting it proves that you're different, that you're the exception, that you're the one woman who's evolved enough to handle his particular brand of emotional unavailability or inconsistency. The most heartbreaking part of this manipulation is that it makes you feel like you have to earn your specialness by continuously proving that you're not like other women, which means you have to continuously accept less than what other women would demand. You become trapped in a performance of being the cool girl, the understanding woman, the one who never makes waves or causes problems. And in maintaining this performance, you lose touch with your authentic self and your legitimate needs. Now that you know these 7 phrases and what they really mean, you might be sitting there feeling angry, confused, or maybe even relieved that someone finally put words to experiences you couldn't quite explain. You might be thinking about past relationships or current situations in a completely new way, and that's exactly what should be happening. This information isn't meant to make you paranoid about every man you meet or cynical about love itself. It's meant to give you the tools to quickly identify people who aren't capable of loving you the way you deserve to be loved. Here's what I need you to understand. There are men in this world who will never say these phrases to you because they understand that love is about creating safety, not testing limits. There are men who see your sensitivity as emotional intelligence, who deliver hard truths with kindness because they actually care about your feelings, who respect your boundaries because they understand that boundaries create intimacy, who commit to you clearly and happily because they recognize your worth, who celebrate your growth because they know that your expansion makes the relationship stronger, not weaker. These men exist, but you'll never recognize them. if you're busy trying to make excuses for men who don't value you. You'll never attract them if you're settling for treatment that goes against every instinct you have. You'll never build something beautiful with them if you're exhausting yourself trying to fix someone who has no interest in becoming fixable. Start trusting your first instincts instead of talking yourself out of them. If something feels wrong in the first few weeks of getting to know someone, it probably is. If you find yourself making excuses for someone's behavior or trying to convince yourself that their words didn't mean what you know they meant, pay attention to that. If you notice yourself changing your personality, your goals, or your standards to make room for someone else's comfort, that's important information about what's happening. Here's the final truth I want to leave you with. You are not responsible for healing people who hurt you. You are not responsible for teaching people how to love you correctly. And you are not responsible for staying in situations that make you smaller just because someone else isn't ready to grow. Your job isn't to be so understanding, so patient, so forgiving that you disappear in the process. Your job is to be authentic, to honor your needs, to trust your instincts, and to create a life that feels good to you. The love you're looking for is looking for you too, but it can only find you when you stop accepting less than what